We all have that manga people recommend to you like always, saying you have to read this. The story is so good and you obviously get the urge to read it. But because of those comments from people, a story sometimes may give high expectations, at which point when you finally decide to read that piece, you would agree that it's good but not at the level of what people are saying. Now before getting to the video, if you are new to the channel, I want you to like, comment, and subscribe for me to keep on going. So, Oyasumi Punpun by Inio Asano, based on what I've heard and read, so it's a coming-of-age manga where we follow our protagonist Punpun, this birdling, from his childhood all the way to his adulthood. It's a life manga where I know the story is amazing as I am in the process of reading it currently, but I am afraid of finishing it because I know this story will somehow stick with me for the rest of my life and add something to my life one way or another. As I am reading this, I know I am not here to enjoy reading this manga. I am reading this because I know this will probably be one of the most powerful works of stories I will experience, with so many people saying the same things. And just by reading the first few chapters, I already knew what journey I will embark on as we go about into every inch of this bird character's life and make it into the most realistic and human story. Let me go a little bit off topic. Another dilemma that may also occur when a series is highly rated to a point where you almost don't want to read it because you want to save that story waiting for the right moment in your life where you fully immerse yourself with the sole purpose of starting and finishing that story. This happened to me before. When I wanted to read 20th Century Boys, I just finished reading Monster at the time, so I wanted to start reading other stories of Urasawa Naoki. But because I just finished Monster and how highly rated 20th Century Boys is, I wanted to wait so that I won't have like burnout or fatigue reading the same type of artwork because that might distract my immersion. I know Monster and 20th Century Boys are very different stories, but the vibe they both have feel pretty similar, with them both being a mystery, and if you look at them side by side, it feels like the same manga even though they're not. So in order for me to fully enjoy 20th Century Boys, I waited around 10 to 11 months, basically a whole year, to finally read it. After Monster, I was at the point where it was long enough that I won't think about the plot and the characters of Monster when reading 20th Century Boys, since I have read a lot of stories since then. So I was in a state that I would want to read another Urasawa Naoki manga again without being distracted. Both mangas are 10 out of 10. I prefer 20th Century Boys more, but back to what the actual manga this video is about. So back to what I was saying about Oyasumi Punpun. While I haven't finished reading the whole thing, I think this story will stick with me as one of the greatest stories, and I am in a state where I think reading Oyasumi Punpun is going to do something important for me. I don't know what though, I still haven't finished reading it. Now for anyone who is hesitant in reading this, that's understandable. This manga tackles very realistic events that may be uncomfortable to some people, especially if they themselves have some sort of experience. So it has a very mature theme, and it's not gory by any means. It's just that you dive into a story that has a very deep and relatable characters and have their own ambitions and flaws that may resonate with people with different characters having a lot in their minds, especially what it means to grow up. As you see this with Punpun, our protagonist. Even though our circumstances when we were younger is different, we can empathize as to what Punpun is going through, whether that would be issues in school, issues in our home, or just issues in ourselves. You can understand the struggle he is going through, even though it seems like he is oblivious to it since he is young. That's to me is what I find about Oyasumi Punpun difficult to read, because yes, there are many stories that have similar themes and premises, but the way Inio Asano created this manga makes the story feel more personal when you read it. Fully ignoring conventional norms of creating a similar story made Oyasumi Punpun a much better manga from the start, with depicting his main character as this bird. Adding that slight visual metaphor made the story that much more phenomenal by adding more depth to the character. From my understanding of why Punpun is portrayed as a bird in the eyes of the reader is that you're able to put yourself in that position when the character doesn't look like anyone, at least appearance-wise. And also my interpretation is when how Punpun sees himself as. someone who is detached or wants to be detached from the complexities of reality. So that's why this bird character seems like so bland. It's basically more like a white canvas at that point. You can come up with your own interpretations, as that also is a reason why this manga is so highly rated. I will finish reading Oyasumi Punpun. By the time I uploaded this video, I'm probably already done. But either way, while I may not enjoy reading Oyasumi Punpun, it will probably become one of my favorite mangas. That may sound hypocritical, but hear me out. Even though I am around halfway into reading it, it is a story that will teach you something that will stick with you. Even though it is uncomfortable and you might just stop, it is important to keep on going. You will gain something valuable when you read this, such as life. The life that you lead have its lowest of moments, but you keep on going no matter how painful. That's what I want to learn when reading Oyasumi Punpun. Personally, I think Oyasumi Punpun is something I should not read because of my current mental state. It's nothing serious, but after finishing reading Oyasumi Punpun, I hope I myself personally gain something from this, because I know this manga will do something for me. That might sound exaggerated, but that's just for my own personal life, so you guys don't have to worry about that. Anyways, that was a really weird ending of mine. That was just a quick rant. You don't have to worry about it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Do all that good stuff. Like, comment, and subscribe. Have a wonderful day out there. Oyasumi.